They said she didn't belong there. In the middle of a dusty U.S. Army training base, surrounded by shouting sergeants and echoing gunfire, one woman stood among dozens of recruits, her hands trembling, her heart pounding against the M24 sniper rifle pressed to her shoulder. Her name was Elena Brooks, 23 years old, from a small town in Kentucky. While others joined the army for glory, she joined for something quieter, to prove that silence could be stronger than arrogance. But the men around her didn't see that. They saw a woman, small frame, steady eyes, and they laughed. When she walked to the firing line, one recruit smirked and whispered, "Careful, sweetheart. That M24 might weigh more than you." The others chuckled. Elena said nothing. She checked her rifle's scope, adjusted the bipod, and focused on the target 800 meters away. The instructor barked, "Fire," when ready. The first bullet cracked through the air, off target. The laughter grew louder. Someone shouted, "Told ya, she can't handle a sniper rifle." But Elena didn't flinch. She took a slow breath, recalling her father's voice. "Don't fight noise with noise. Let your silence speak." Her second shot landed an inch closer to the bullseye. Her third, dead center. The laughter died instantly. Only the echo of her shot remained. Then a voice came from behind, deep, commanding, filled with authority. "Who fired that last round?" The recruits turned. The commander himself had entered the range, tall, composed, scanning the line. The instructor saluted. "Sir." It was Recruit Brooks. The commander stepped closer, eyes narrowing on Elena's rifle, then on her. A pause, silent, heavy. Then he said, calmly but loud enough for everyone to hear, "She's the best sniper you've got. Train like her, or go home." The recruits froze. Elena lowered her rifle, not smiling, just breathing. Finally seen, finally respected. Brief pause, sound of wind fades, but that moment was only the beginning, because proving herself once wasn't enough. What came next would test not her aim, but her heart. The next morning, the recruits gathered before sunrise. Their boots crunched against the cold dirt, rifles slung across their shoulders. The air smelled of oil, sweat, and quiet rivalry. Elena stood at the edge of the formation, calm, focused. No one mocked her now, but no one spoke to her either. Respect, she learned, didn't mean belonging. The drill sergeant barked, "Today, you'll shoot blind targets. Wind, distance, zero visibility. This is where soldiers break." The recruits nodded. Elena simply whispered to herself, "Not today." They marched to the upper range, a hill that looked down on a valley shrouded in morning fog. Targets hidden between rocks, distance unknown. The M24 felt heavy, but familiar in her grip. When the signal came, rifles lifted, shots cracked. Some missed, some panicked, but Elena didn't rush. She listened to the wind, the sound of brass hitting gravel, the heartbeat in her chest. Then she adjusted her scope by instinct, not calculation. Bang, target down, bang, another hit, bang, third one fell clean. The instructor checked the digital monitor, disbelief written all over his face. 343, wind at 9 knots. She read it by ear. From the hilltop, one of the recruits muttered, "Lucky shots," but luck didn't breathe that steady. Luck didn't control recoil like rhythm. Elena removed her ear protection, calm eyes, staring through the fog. Inside, she felt something shift. A quiet anger turned into pride. That night, in the barracks, as the others joked and played cards, Elena cleaned her rifle in silence. The same recruit who mocked her before walked over. He looked uncomfortable, hands in pockets. "Hey, he began, voice awkward. "You were good today, real good." She didn't look up. "Good is temporary," she said softly. "Consistent is better." He blinked, then smiled a little. "Guess I'll have to catch up." Elena nodded. No hate, no revenge, just quiet strength. But outside the window, someone else was watching. The commander. His eyes followed her through the glass, thoughtful, calculating. He turned to the senior instructor beside him. "Keep her under observation. She has something rare, not just accuracy, control, emotional control." The instructor frowned. "Sir, you mean for..." "Yes," the commander replied, "for the advanced recon course. Let's see if she can handle the real thing." Sound fades, night wind, through the barracks window, narration low. Cinematic. She thought the hardest part was earning respect, but the real test was about to begin. Days turned into weeks, and Elena's quiet reputation grew. Whispers of "she's the best" replaced laughter, but she knew respect earned in the training range meant little in the field. The commander called her to his office one morning. The room was stark, sunlight filtering through blinds. Maps and charts covered the walls. "Recruit Brooks," he said, voice calm but sharp, "you've mastered the rifle. Now we'll see if you can think like a sniper, move like one, survive like one. Advanced recon test begins at 0600 tomorrow." Elena nodded. Her heart didn't race. It was steady, focused. "Understood, sir." That night, she packed her gear meticulously. M24, extra ammo, survival kit, and her father's old compass. She slept little, rehearsing mental drills, imagining the course, calculating variables she could control. At sunrise, the training field was replaced by a dense woodland, fog creeping through the trees. Other recruits followed orders from the instructors. but Elena's path was solitary. Your mission, the commander's voice boomed over a speaker, is to navigate to the observation post undetected, acquire the target, and report back without alerting patrols. Any contact is failure. She stepped into the forest, every snap of twig and rustle of leaf magnified in her senses. Her body moved silently, each step deliberate. The M24 rested lightly, her eyes scanning. Hours passed. Her muscles burned, thirst clawed at her throat. Recruits around her faltered, some hiding behind trees, some panicking at imagined patrols. But Elena pushed forward. She remembered the first day, the ridicule, the laughter. She whispered to herself, "This is why I came here." Finally, she reached a ridge overlooking the target. Through her scope, she saw a mock enemy unit unaware, moving exactly as the instructors predicted. She held her breath, calculated the shot, and marked the positions silently. Observation complete, she whispered into her radio. Back at the base, the commander watched the live feed, nodding. The instructors exchanged looks of disbelief. None had completed the course without triggering alarms, except her. Hours later, she returned, mud-streaked and exhausted. She dropped to her knees, letting out the first deep breath she'd taken all day. The commander approached, expression unreadable. Then, slowly, he spoke. "Recruit Brooks, you didn't just survive. You dominated the course. You are exactly what this unit needs." Other recruits watched, some stunned, others finally seeing her as a peer, a leader in the making. Elena didn't smile. She only lifted her head, steady eyes meeting the commander's. It wasn't about glory, it was about proof. Sound, distant, forest wind, fades into silence, narration soft, cinematic. She had proven herself with the rifle, but now, she had proven herself with strategy, patience, and heart. The real war, the one within herself, was only beginning. Weeks of training had hardened Elena, but nothing could prepare her for the chaos that unfolded that afternoon. The instructors had staged a simulated ambush, supposedly a test of reflex, stealth, and calm under fire. The recruits were told it was a controlled exercise. Elena moved silently through the brush, her M24 pressed to her shoulder. The forest was alive with sound, snapping twigs, distant shouts, and the faint echo of simulated explosions. Then, suddenly, chaos erupted. Gunfire cracked, bullets tore through leaves, ricocheted off trees. Screams and shouts filled the air. Recruits panicked, scattering in all directions. Some froze, some tripped over roots and fell. Elena's heart raced, not with fear, but with focus. She had trained for this. She had endured ridicule, exhaustion, and isolation. She would not fail now. Spotting a patrol of mock enemies advancing, she dropped to one knee, her scope aligned. Bang. Target down. Bang. Another down, but it wasn't enough. She heard a shout behind her. A recruit had tripped, a bullet close enough to kick dirt onto his uniform. Without hesitation, Elena sprinted, dragging him behind a fallen log. "Stay down. Stay quiet," she hissed. The recruit looked at her. I thought I was done for." Elena didn't answer. Another patrol moved closer. She crawled, silent as a shadow, aligning the rifle again. Bang. A precise shot disarmed the threat. Bang. Another neutralized. Hours passed like minutes. Sweat ran down her face. Mud streaked her uniform. But she kept moving, keeping others alive, keeping herself focused. Finally, the ambush ended. The forest fell silent except for Elena's labored breathing. She helped the trembling recruits to their feet. Some whispered her name in awe. Others simply stared, realizing the truth. She was extraordinary. The commander arrived moments later, surveying the aftermath. His eyes met Elena's. Calm, but piercing. "Recruit Brooks, you didn't just survive the ambush. You led. You protected. That's what a sniper does. Not just shoot, but command the battlefield with presence and precision." Elena lowered her rifle. She didn't smile. Pride wasn't loud. Pride was quiet, internal, earned in moments like these. Sound fades, forest, wind. Distant echo of training artillery narration, soft, cinematic. From mockery to mastery, from doubt to dominance. Elena had transformed, but the lessons were far from over. For every target she conquered, there was a battle within herself she still had to face. By the end of the ambush exercise, word of Elena's performance had spread like wildfire across the base. The recruits who had mocked her weeks ago now whispered her name with awe. Even the toughest instructors exchanged looks, some incredulous, some inspired. The commander called a formal assembly. All recruits and instructors gathered on the parade ground, their boots aligned in perfect rows, the sun casting long shadows across the dust-streaked concrete. Elena stood at attention, M24 slung across her back. Her uniform bore the stains of mud, sweat, and countless hours of training. She didn't look around. She didn't need to. She knew their eyes were on her. The commander stepped forward, voice cutting through the silence. "Recruits, today you witnessed the performance of someone extraordinary." Recruit Elena Brooks did more than survive the advanced recon course and the ambush she led. she protected, and she proved that skill, determination, and courage are not bound by gender or expectation. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some recruits stared wide-eyed. Others straightened, finally seeing her as a peer, a leader, a legend in the making. He continued, I don't say this lightly, she is the best sniper in this cohort, not just for accuracy, but for composure, for heart, and for discipline. I expect each of you to learn from her example. Elena kept her eyes forward, silent, as the commander placed a commendation pin on her chest. The sun glinted off the metal, but it was the unspoken recognition, the respect earned through blood, sweat, and quiet determination that truly mattered. One of the recruits who had mocked her on day one approached hesitantly. Recruit Brooks, I guess. I owe you an apology. She looked at him, eyes steady. Calm. No apology needed, she said softly. Just train harder. That's all I ask. For the first time, Elena allowed herself a small, private smile. She didn't need the approval of everyone, only the understanding that her skill, courage, and resolve had spoken louder than mockery ever could. Sound, distant wind, faint cheers, narration soft, emotional. From the day they mocked her with an M24 rifle to this moment of recognition, Elena had grown, not only as a soldier but as a person. She had transformed doubt into triumph, silence into power. And somewhere deep inside, she knew the battlefield was larger than any training course. The true test of a sniper wasn't just accuracy, it was heart. Elena had earned respect. She had survived tests that crushed others. She had led in the chaos of the ambush. But the quiet moments, the ones when the barracks were empty and the world outside, was still revealed a different challenge. Doubt, she sat alone on her bunk, the M24 resting beside her. Her fingers traced the smooth metal, her mind replaying every shot, every decision, every moment she had been mocked, dismissed, or underestimated. Am I really the best? She thought. Or did I just get lucky? Memories of failure, fear, and isolation pressed on her. The first day on the range, the laughter, the whispers seemed far away, yet still painfully vivid. She realized that being recognized by the commander and her peers didn't erase the weight of self, it only illuminated it. A soft knock broke her thoughts. One of the instructors, Lieutenant Harris, stepped in quietly. He didn't speak at first, just watched her. Finally, he said, Brooks, the thing about snipers is, it's not just the rifle, it's the mind. The body is trained to react, but the mind is the battlefield. Elena nodded slowly, understanding. She had trained her body to perfection, but her mind, her heart, still wavered. Fear, she whispered. Fear is not weakness. Harris replied. It's proof that you care. The best snipers, they control it, not ignore it. That night, Elena lay awake, staring at the ceiling. She recalled her father's voice again. Don't fight noise with noise. Let your silence speak. Her silence had brought her here. Now, it needed to bring her further. Sound, wind outside. Soft distant voices of other recruits settling in for the night. Narration soft, introspective. The battlefield wasn't just trees, targets, or enemy patrols. It was within her, a landscape of doubt, fear, and the relentless pressure to prove herself. Elena realized something vital. The rifle could hit its mark, but only a steady heart could decide which battles were worth fighting. And for the first time, she didn't fear the internal battle. She welcomed it, because she knew that every sniper, every soldier, every leader had to fight the war within before they could triumph in the world outside. Weeks of training, weeks of proving herself, all led to this day, the final field exercise. The commander had designed it personally, a test meant to push every recruit to the brink of physical, mental, and emotional endurance. Elena arrived at the staging area before dawn. The air was cold, mist curling around the trees like smoke. Her M24 rifle was strapped to her back, her survival pack loaded. Around her, other recruits looked nervous, many exhausted from previous drills. This course will simulate real-world combat scenarios. The commander's voice echoed over the PA. You will navigate enemy territory, protect civilians, and neutralize threats. There are no success is survival, failure is elimination. Elena's jaw tightened. She didn't need encouragement. She had trained, endured, and conquered doubt. The whistle blew. The exercise began. Bullets whizzed past. Explosions rocked the ground. Civilians, role-players, screamed for help as recruits scrambled to protect them. Elena moved like a shadow, silent, precise. She neutralized threats, guided panicked civilians to safety, and calculated every shot with deadly accuracy. Hours into the exercise, she reached the final checkpoint, a mock enemy bunker with high-value targets. Her heart pounded, but not from fear. It was focus, determination, and responsibility fused into a single, sharp edge. Through the scope, she saw the targets. She adjusted for distance, wind, and movement. Bang. One down. Bang. Another. The final target moved behind cover. She took a deep breath, reminded herself of everything she had learned. Patience, composure, strategy. Bang. Target neutralized. Silence fell. The exercise was over. The mist lifted, revealing the commander standing on the ridge, watching. Other recruits approached cautiously, awe and admiration in their eyes. he descended the hill, stopping before Elena, his face, usually unreadable, softened with respect. "Recruit Brooks, you didn't just complete the ultimate test. You mastered it. You led, protected, and executed flawlessly under pressure that would have broken most. You are the sniper, the soldier, and the leader we all aspire to be." Elena lowered her rifle, exhaustion heavy on her shoulders. She didn't smile outwardly. Her pride was quiet, earned in the actions that had spoken louder than words. Sound, soft wind, faint rustle of leaves, distant birdsong narration, emotional, cinematic. From ridicule on the first day to mastery in the ultimate test, Elena Brooks had transformed. She wasn't just a sniper with a rifle. She was a symbol of resilience, precision, and quiet courage. The battlefield outside mirrored the battlefield within, and for Elena, both had been won. Months passed since the ultimate test. The barracks, the ranges, and the forest exercises were no longer new to Elena, but her presence had changed everything, not just her own path, but the way others trained, thought, and respected one another. New recruits arrived, bright-eyed and nervous, unaware of the legend standing among them. Some still whispered doubts about what a woman could achieve with an M24 rifle, but Elena didn't need to prove herself anymore. Actions, not words, were her statement. During one morning drill, a young recruit struggled with the sniper course. Elena quietly approached, kneeling beside him. She guided his hands on the rifle, adjusting his stance with patience. "Focus on the target," she whispered. "Not the noise, not the doubts, just your aim and your heart." The recruit fired, hitting the bull. His eyes widened. "Thank you, ma'am," he said, voice trembling. Elena smiled softly, a rare, quiet expression. She realized then, her journey wasn't just about surviving mockery or proving skill. It was about inspiring others to rise above doubt, to trust themselves, and to believe that strength came from resilience, heart, and discipline. The commander watched from a distance, observing her quietly. He nodded subtly, a silent acknowledgement that Elena had become more than a recruit. She had become a symbol of excellence. Sound, gentle wind, soft cheers of recruits in the distance. Narration, cinematic. Emotionally, from the day she was mocked with the M24 rifle to this moment of quiet mentorship, Elena Brooks had transformed every challenge into proof of her skill, her heart, and her unwavering resolve. Her legacy wasn't just in medals, commendations, or perfect shots. It was in the courage she inspired, the respect she commanded, and the silence that spoke louder than any voice ever could. And for every recruit who doubted themselves, her story whispered a single truth: strength isn't given, it's earned, silently. With every shot, every step, and every heartbeat. The wind rustled through the trees. Elena stood, M24, on her back, looking toward the horizon. The future was uncertain, but she was ready, not because she was the best sniper, but because she had mastered the battle within. Elena Brooks had arrived at the pinnacle of her journey, from mockery to mastery, from doubt to respect. Every recruit who had laughed at her now stood in silent admiration. Every instructor who had questioned her skill now counted her among the finest soldiers they had ever trained. But it wasn't just about the medals or recognition. It was about the journey, the quiet battles fought within, the moments of fear turned into courage, the discipline that transformed hesitation into precision. As she walked across the training grounds one last time, her footsteps steady and deliberate, she realized the truth of her path. Respect isn't demanded, it's earned, silently, through perseverance and heart. The commander's voice echoed in her memory. "You are exactly what this unit needs," and she had become that. Not by proving others wrong, but by proving herself right. Sound fades, wind over the training field. Soft cinematic swell of music narration, soft, inspiring, for every recruit who doubts their own strength, for every soldier who wonders if they belong. Elena Brooks' story is proof. Greatness isn't in the size of your body, or the whispers of others, or the weight of the rifle you carry. It's in the heart that guides your hand, the mind that keeps you steady, and the courage that keeps you moving forward. No matter what anyone else says. And in that silence, the loudest message of all is clear. You can be extraordinary, you just have to fight for it. One silent step at a time. They laughed at her, small, quiet, and holding an M24 rifle. Can she even hit the target? They sneered. She didn't answer. She fired. Bang. Dead center. Bang. Another hit. The commander walked in. Calm, but commanding. "She's the best sniper you've got." Mockery turned to respect. Fear turned to courage. Doubt became determination. From ridicule to mastery, Elena Brooks proved that greatness isn't given, it's earned. Want to see her full journey? Watch the complete story in the link below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that inspire courage, heart, and resilience.